In October, the most twisted blonde guy used his psychic powers to enslave 4 girls into his harem. Not satisfied, he even tried to lay hands on the heroine. But he didn't know. She already belonged to the Demon Lord. This time, the Demon Lord couldn't hold back anymore and decided to teach him a painful lesson. Onsen daijobu desu ka? You beast! A monster like you! 6 years earlier, when the heroine lived in Battle City's 03, a swarm of void beasts attacked. Every member of her family went to the battlefield except her. But in the end, all the 1,000 holy sword wielders who participated in that war were annihilated. From that day on, she swore to protect this land no matter what. The Demon Lord was shocked. This fortress city could actually move across the sea. But now, he was forced to live in the Holy Sword Academy, a place that trains those who awaken holy swords. Anyone with a holy sword must enroll. Tuition, food, and housing are all free. But outsiders like him first had to undergo inspection before entering. Although his plan was to rebuild the Demon Lord's army and wipe out humanity, human civilization had advanced explosively while he was gone. 1,000 years had passed. His maid, Sherry, was astonished at his new youthful appearance. He explained that his reincarnation had failed, leaving him stuck in the form of his old hero self. To her, though, he just looked cute. Now, living on a massive artificial island, one of 7 cities of this size, the Demon Lord had to adapt. He sent his servants to secretly investigate, because magic had weakened in this era, and careless use could attract suspicion. Meanwhile, he himself had to infiltrate the academy, despite disliking his new human body. During his inspection, his power triggered alarms, forcing him to conceal his magic to pass. After getting his new ID, the heroine quickly booked his holy sword registration. Before heading to the dorms, she guided him around the academy. Surprisingly, even though this was a frontline city, it felt peaceful, because this tactical city had never once been breached by the void beasts. The Demon Lord was amazed. The city's management bureau was even larger than his old demon castle. Nearby the academy there were training grounds and leisure facilities, since holy swords are born from one's inner spirit. If a swordsman is exhausted, their weapon becomes powerless. That's why balance between rest and training is critical. Still, the Demon Lord noticed something odd. The heroine had no holy sword, yet she could stay here. Just then, the blonde punk appeared again, blocking their way. He mocked her for forming a loser squad, and sneered that she even needed to babysit weaklings. Though he himself had inherited a bloodline famous for awakening a holy sword, he still hadn't managed to do it. To avoid being cast out, he tried to force her into his harem, using mental magic to enslave other girls. The heroine rejected him, making him furious. As he grabbed her by the hair and prepared to use force, the Demon Lord's killing aura exploded, instantly forcing the blonde to his knees. "My woman is not something your filthy hands are allowed to touch." The blonde drew his sword in rage. But before things escalated, a senior student, Feeney, appeared and stopped the fight. The academy strictly forbade holy sword duels, so the blonde had no choice but to back down. Feeney, who was part of the heroine's squad, specialized in intelligence analysis. The Demon Lord learned from her that holy swords came in all kinds of shapes and powers. Later, Feeney mentioned unusual magical disturbances in the nearby sea, suspected to be linked to void beasts. That night, after the heroine collapsed from exhaustion, she brought the Demon Lord to her dorm. The academy dorms were ranked by strength, so their loser squad could only stay in an old rundown building. She invited him to join her team, even if he had no holy sword. Though confused why someone powerless would insist on fighting instead of relying on others, the Demon Lord admired her resolve. But suddenly, as she grew weak and collapsed into his arms, her eyes turned crimson, fangs extending. She bit into the Demon Lord's neck. At that moment, he confessed the truth. He never had healing powers. He couldn't resurrect the dead. The real him had already died in a single strike long ago. After winning the battle, the squad heads together to the bathhouse. The demon lord, awkward and shy, doesn't even dare turn around. Meanwhile, far away in the heroine's already destroyed hometown, the void beast monarch corrupts the holy swords of slain warriors, turning them into demon swords as sacrifices to the prophesied goddess. Soon after, the heroine's squad receives urgent news. A void beast reaction has been detected over 1,000 kilometers to the northwest. The location is none other than Tactical City 03, the heroine and Regina's ruined hometown, which had once been swallowed by the void realm. Strangely, the abandoned city's magic core has reactivated for unknown reasons, and 2 separate distress signals have been transmitted from within. Their instructor orders the heroine's squad to investigate. Feeney questions why such a dangerous mission is being handed to the weakest team. Could it be because the heroine is the last surviving noble from the Duke's house and also a survivor of that city? The demon lord realizes the truth. Humanity is trying to create a new hero, just like 1,000 years ago. Having once been the hero himself, he sees through it immediately. The instructor doesn't deny it, though he does claim he has faith in their squad's abilities. The heroine worries about the demon lord's age. He looks only 10 years old, but he insists on joining the mission. Before departure, the demon lord makes his own preparations. Suspecting that the strange events in the abandoned city are tied to the Holy Church and hidden history erased from records, he must personally uncover the mastermind. During his absence, he entrusts the city's protection to Kuro, while his maid Sherry joins him for the operation. Noticing a collar on Kuro's neck, the demon lord is baffled. Kuro proudly explains, it's a gift from the sword girl, proof that he won't be treated like a stray dog anymore. The demon lord can only sigh. After all, Kuro was once a royal prince 1,000 years ago. That night, Regina affectionately tends to the demon lord, offering him healing services to help him rest. The heroine, jealous, declares that as his guardian, she should be the one to take care of him. In the midst of this, the demon lord recalls a memory from 1,000 years ago, of the rebellious goddess lying on his lap. She tells him that she cannot stay by his side much longer. Soon, she will leave this world and reincarnate 1,000 years into the future. Will you still find me? She asks. The demon lord swears that no matter what, even if he has to overturn the entire world, he will find her again. She makes him promise one more thing. If she ever changes and is no longer herself, he must still find her. When he comes back to his senses, he realizes he is actually lying on the heroine's lap, not the goddess's. By now, their group has reached the ruins of Tactical City 03. They split into 2 teams for investigation, with the demon lord accompanying the heroine while secretly assigning Sherry to guard the others. Even if the girls aren't officially his vassals yet, they're still future harem candidates. But shortly after splitting up, the demon lord's side encounters void beast activity. The sky suddenly rains beams of light upon the ground. The heroine, caught off guard, is pinned beneath a collapsing utility pole. In the latest episode of Harem Academy, the tension hits an all-time high. The demon lord strikes with full power to annihilate the void beast monarch, only to suddenly hear the voice of the rebellious goddess echoing from within the monster. His attack instantly fails, and before he realizes it, the monarch pierces his chest with a single sword strike. Just 2.5 minutes earlier, the heroine had been ambushed. Surrounded and nearly finished off, she was only saved when 3 undead warriors suddenly appeared at her side. The enemy was shocked. Who knew the heroine could summon undead? But could her summoned warriors really withstand his 6th tier magic? At that moment, the demon lord stepped in. With a casual strike, he blasted the enemy away. The heroine, stunned, asked about the 3 undead. It turned out they weren't summoned by her at all. They were gifts, hidden inside protective charms the demon lord had given her earlier. These were the 3 undead braves. But instead of focusing on the battle, the 3 immediately began bickering, competing for the demon lord's affection, leaving him utterly speechless. The enemy recovered and revealed his true form, a smug, white-haired youth. The demon lord instantly recognized him, an old face from 1,000 years ago. The white hair launched more curse bullets, but the demon lord easily dispersed them. When pressed for his purpose, the white hair only laughed maniacally as the Ground began to quake. With the flesh and blood of Saintess Tiaras as a sacrifice, the container for the goddess was complete. The rebellious goddess had been resurrected. The white-haired traitor simply smirked and fled, declaring that no one could escape the goddess's destruction. The demon lord's heart sank. The last time he saw this white-haired man was during the 8 Demon Lords Conference 1,000 years ago, back when he served as a general under the otherworldly demon god. And the goddess he mentioned. Could it truly be Regalia, the very one the demon lord once swore to find again? From the skies, the Holy Church's sigil blazed. A colossal female void beast rose, none other than the void beast monarch itself. The demon lord was horrified to recognize its true identity. Saintess Tiares, one of the 6 heroes, now turned into a puppet of the gods. With the goddess's revival, countless angelic void beasts poured forth, regenerating endlessly from their wounds. The demon lord tested their weakness, blasting their heads to confirm they could still die, but the monarch's regeneration matched even his might. Determined, the demon lord unleashed his 10th tier magic. Sugoi, incredible power, yet still useless. The monarch countered, summoning overlapping magic circles that erupted into a barrage of destruction. The demon lord and the 3 undead combined forces, erecting a defensive barrier. Arha di Shuihoi Chuano Kongi-chan Miemashu, Ione Meshisu. It was the 11th rotation annihilation spell, Ionemesis. Cornered, the demon lord drew upon his trump card, the demon-slaying sword. For this, he needed the heroine to act as his protector. As usual, she became his tool, calmly, slashing her hand open to awaken the dormant power of the vampire queen. With her protecting him, the demon lord flew forward, sword in hand, only for the blade to resonate strangely. Suddenly, from within the monarch's body, he heard Rogalia's voice. "Shi wo kirouto shiteiru no ka? Sonna hazu wa. Hi wo kiru koto wa dekinai." You would cut me down, impossible. You could never kill me. The demon lord's heart shattered. The monarch couldn't possibly be the goddess he loved, yet her voice and soul were undeniably there. He forced the strike, but it failed. The monarch unleashed a storm of holy lances, one piercing straight through the demon lord's chest. Gravely wounded, he could only watch as the heroine, enraged, transformed. Her rage exploded, her body clad in crimson power. With a single swing of her blood-red blade, she slashed the monarch to the ground. But the demon lord had lost all will to fight. The heroine, bound to him as his vassal, only cared to see him survive. He, however, wished only for her safety. 1,000 years ago, he had promised Regalia that even if the world turned upside down, he would find her again. Yet, the goddess had asked something of him in return. If, in the future, she was no longer herself, he must kill her with the demon sword. The demon lord refused. Even now, he could never bring himself to grant her that request. The goddess only smiled sadly, asking him to at least remember this promise when the time comes, and to never forget his true mission, because the demon sword she entrusted him with would one day guide his destiny forward. After the small victory, the demon king suddenly finds himself face to face with an old enemy from 1,000 years ago, the so-called Great Sage. Without holding back, he opens with a blazing fire spell, but to his shock, the Great Sage has gained a twisted regenerative ability. The sage mocks him. "You should have perished 1,000 years ago. This world has already chosen me to be reborn alongside the void's heart." As he speaks, countless faces emerge from the roots of his body, the priests of the holy order he absorbed to fuel his power. The battle erupts. The demon king and his beast companion unleash spell after spell. But something is wrong. Their magic feels weakened. That's because this entire domain belongs to the Great Sage. Here, he can steal magic power and even cast multiple spells. At once, through the souls he devoured. The demon king is quickly pushed back. Meanwhile, the heroine is bound in roots, struggling to break free. Even as she summons her holy sword, she can't cut through. But instead of despairing, she awakens her bloodline, the power of the vampire queen. Blood blades burst from her veins, slicing the roots apart. Sensing her determination, the Demon King helps her by piercing her body with his blood-soaked earring. Crimson wings unfurl from her back. Her power skyrockets. Now, she can finally fight alongside him. The sage, disgusted by this dog food display, unleashes multi-layered time magic, ready to erase them all. But the Demon King has been saving one last trump card. The weapon the goddess gave him, long ago. A holy sword reforged into a magic sword. But it can only be drawn by one who claims a kingdom and vows to protect it. So, the Demon King declares, "From this moment, this city is my kingdom. Everyone who lives here is my subject. This blade will answer my call." The sword glows, its holy and demonic wills merging into one. The great sage falters, fear creeping in. But it's too late. The Demon King swings once and the so-called Chosen One is erased in an instant. With the battle over, the heroine, drained of blood, immediately clings to the Demon King. She demands a refill straight from him. The Demon King obliges, offering his finger, but just as she starts drinking, the rest of the girls walk in. And of course, they're not about to let her hog him all to herself. Meanwhile, the kingdom's princess, upon receiving the distress signal, had already dispatched reinforcements. But when her forces arrive, the battle is long over. Curious, she decides not to return just yet. Instead, she personally wants to check on the so-called weakest squad and their mysterious boy who defeated the great sage.